G'day guys, how you going? Supro here, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you guys are going well. What a great time of the year it is. Team Picker is finally back for next year, so I can't wait to get stuck into it. But yeah, I thought I'd just play around with, what I'm kind of thinking for my side at the moment. Obviously it's going to change a fair bit to like what it's going to end up being for round one. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see who goes well in the preseason games and scores well. Might have to jump on some of those blokes, but yeah, I'll just start off my team for the moment. So the only other thing is, Shane, mate, if you are watching this video, could you please just leave a comment down below just about the league that we were in this year? That would be much appreciated. But anyway, we'll go into the side, what we were thinking. So yeah, it might be a bit similar to what everyone else is thinking, but it's a fair reason behind that. But Nick Dacos, not too bad to pick, I don't think. I think he should be right just because he's got that DPP status. So even if you wanted to start him in the midfield, I'd probably do that. At the moment, I'm thinking I won't start him, but that's probably going to change like before round one. Just like have to pray, like in the case that you don't start him, that he gets tagged and drops a fair bit in cash. But he's obviously going to be an uber premium, so going to be a keeper regardless if you do pick him or not. So yeah, most likely he will be. But yeah, I think because they've got like the round 6 bye, I believe it is, something like that. They've got like all these cooked buys now, which is weird. I could just aim to get him in after his first bye, which would be awesome. Because that round 0 crap. Don't know whose idea that was, but anyway. And we'll probably just grab Sicily because, he's got such a high ceiling. This guy is a beast. Definitely want to pick him. Definitely think he'll be a keeper, like a top 3 defender for sure. And then we'll grab Stewart as well, my guy from the Cats. We love Stewart. Should be the captain, hopefully. But, I think Dangerfield will be the captain, but it doesn't really matter. I think Stewart's going to be moving more into a midfield role next year, which will be a bit of a surprise. Might be like a bit of a Rory Laird sort of situation where he was a defender that turned into a midfielder. So yeah, that could be pretty awesome if he does like go really well in the midfield. They were kind of playing with the idea during the year just because we didn't have too many midfielders available. But yeah, I think he should be a lock for a top 6 defender by the end of the next year anyway. And then yeah, this is where it becomes interesting. Like, I could just go with someone else. I'm leaning towards Sinclair just because he does have that high ceiling, but we found out this year that he is a bit inconsistent as well, which is kind of frustrating. He's at that odd price point where it's like 600k. So I think I'll probably give him a miss, but if I was going to grab more than 2 premium defenders, I'd probably grab Sinclair. Newman's probably an interesting watch. Probably wouldn't grab him. Just wait and see how he goes in the preseason. Same with Houston. Maybe he's a bit more freed up with Radigalia and Zerk Thatcher. Could be another option. And then Sheasel's another interesting guy. Other than that, I'm not really looking at too many of these other players. Maybe Ridley as well. I think he'll be a bit more free next year. And yeah, Hayden Young has a bit of hype behind him because he's going to be playing in the midfield, I believe. But yeah, that's not too bad. Then Whitfield, yeah, probably wouldn't start him personally, but he might, bounce back. Isn't it crazy? Like the Giants, 1 point away from the grand final, but it just doesn't seem right. Like they have all these great players and like they've never won a flag. Maybe they might win next year, but they have so much potential with all these players they have. So, they could still be an option for SuperCoach even next year. But at the moment, I'm actually leaning towards a bit of a pod, just like I'm thinking about it. It's a bit ridiculous. Jeremy McGovern, just put him in the side for the moment. But yeah, he's probably like not going to be in my side by the time of round 1. It's just like floating the idea around, sorry. Because now there's no Shannon Hearn, so I think he might take the kickouts. He's the general now down back, which is awesome. He does have that potential, I reckon, to go 110, but, he always gets injured. So that's always a massive red flag because I don't think he's actually played a whole season out. So, just speaking now, it sounds stupid to pick him, but if he does go well and doesn't actually get injured, he might be a good option. But I've just got him in the team for the moment, just to play around with it, have a look. We've got some good options in the midfield, like Bont, quite expensive, but yeah, he's obviously going to back it up. Baz isn't going to be playing next year. Sorry, keep saying that. Like all these guys are good options, like Petrarca and that, but they're quite expensive. So I think next year it's like probably I'm going to lean towards value options. Like I think I'll probably go with Jordan Dawson, even though he does have that midfield role, like just the midfield status. Instead of the DPP, compared to this year. I think I like him a bit more over Laird just because he's a bit younger and he's also, got a higher ceiling, I believe. I think he scored like 173 this year or something high like that. So he does have the potential to get even higher scores next year. So I think I'll probably start him. And then Zach Butters is another guy who's got a high ceiling as well. Only getting glimpses of it this year. So, he's going to be even better next year. I think he's a lock, has to be a lock. And then, Dunkley could be a good option as well. I don't mind him. LDU is another good option. I think he started to rack up some Brownlow votes, even though, he was injured for like most of the year as well. Goulden, obviously nearly won the Brownlow, but he's so good for Supercoach. Obviously, kind of want to start him. I think he's a better option than like a Brayshaw, to be honest. But I think obviously I'm going to pick Green. He's just another one of these young guys that's just getting better and better every year. Might be a smoky for the Brownlow next year if the Giants continue to push for a grand final. But yeah, be interesting. I don't even mind. Like all these guys are really good. Chera is another guy. Like, do you go Chera over Walsh just because this year he was the better player? But yeah, Walsh will probably come out next year firing. Got a point to prove. So Walsh is obviously another guy that I'll select. I think I had him this year, but I can't remember. But yeah, it was a bit frustrating if I did have him, I believe. Then, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Parrish. Like, he's another guy that I wouldn't mind starting. I think he's got potential to do 110 at least next year. It's just a matter of, like, who is going to be the guy. I still think it's going to be Merritt for the Dons. But, yeah, I don't mind Parrish either. I think he could be an option to start just at that price. He's pretty decent value. And then other than that, it gets into that interesting territory. Probably wouldn't start Josh Kelly or Cogs, but, I think Kelly could be the guy, just a matter of his role next year. Everyone, you want to start him some years, but, it's always a trap. But I think Green, he's definitely the option to start. And then Doherty, isn't too bad. It'd be interesting to watch like Matt Rowell as well and like Noah Anderson. But yeah, I think these guys I've got here at the moment are definitely who I'm thinking about starting. And yeah, Took's not even a bad price, but because Gold Coast have so many other midfielders, it'll be interesting to see. And you add like Flanders to the mix as well, who's going to be their number one midfielder. I had him this year. It was a bit frustrating because I was overhyped him basically, and he didn't perform. I think his role changed, but he's the captain of the club. Surely he's the main guy next year. Cripps is interesting, but yeah, he's always frustrating to own. Goey might consider that just because they don't have Taylor Adams now, but he's pretty good value. Same with Steele. I think I'll put Steele on my side just for the moment, just because he's quite cheap. But then again, I'll have to decide like where my team needs spacing out or not. Like if I've got too many midfielders or not. And then the Rucks is quite interesting as well because I kind of want to start English, but he's so expensive. Maybe he'll drop a bit, but he really didn't drop much in price all year. So wouldn't mind starting English, but I think next year, if I actually want to go up in the ranks, I'm actually going to just go for value picks. So just be basic and go with Gawn and Grundy. Grundy's definitely a good option just because he'll be the number one ruckman, obviously. But yeah, he's so cheap. It feels good to have him back, just Gawn and Grundy. But I wouldn't be surprised if like Rowan Marshall outscored both of them. and like Witts, Sean Darcy, like these are all good options here. Like they're probably still, obviously they're ahead of him in terms of rankings here. But yeah, I think the value options are the way to go next year, just for like my thinking at the moment. Oh yeah, I definitely want to start Cam Guthrie as well, actually. Just because, people forgot like why we were so bad this year. It's because Cam Guthrie was out like for the majority of the year, and that's why we got exposed so much in our midfield. But yeah, this could just be bias anyway. But yeah, he's a gun. So like in the past, he has scored quite well. Like I think a couple of years ago, he was only like 600k or something. But yeah, he's one of those guys who'll go back up, even if he's not a keeper. I think he can still get back up to like 550k at least, maybe 600. But he'll be the number one midfielder for the Cats anyway. I believe he's going to be the main guy. I wouldn't mind taking a punt on Max Holmes, but he's still costs more than Guthrie. So like I think if he does have a breakout year, it'll be exciting. But I still see, in my eyes as a Geelong supporter, I still see Guthrie as the better option, just because he's proven in the past that he can score over 100. So I think he could even go 110. But just with the value, because he was out for most of the year, and he's already back in the main training, so that's going to be good to watch. Just got to pray that he gets through unscathed. And then the forward line's shocking. So I feel like you just have to grab McRae, just because I don't have any Bulldogs in my team at the moment, but I'll definitely want McRae, just because there's not many good options. McRae is definitely going to be a top 6 come end of next year. So even Luke Jackson's not a bad shout. Be interesting to see. He does have that durability, so he'll be able to cover like Sean Darcy if he goes down. So that could be interesting to watch. Had a couple good games. I think he's got quite a high ceiling, so could be another guy to pick, but I'm not too sure at the moment. This is where it gets interesting. Like, do you jump on the Dustin Martin hype? Because, he's got all this hype around him at the moment from, like, the news articles. Like, oh, he's the fittest he's been under the new coach and stuff. Maybe he could be a top 6 end of next year. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to stick to value at this point in time anyway, and go with Sam Flanders. Obviously, most people will go with him as well. He's a good option. I was a bit surprised. I did start him for like the first 2 rounds this year, which is annoying because he didn't actually go that well. They didn't have him in the right role, and now as soon as they put him in the right role later in the year, he starts going well. So yeah, it's interesting to see. It's just going to be interesting to see the dynamic in the midfield for the Gold Coast Suns next year with the new coach. But yeah, and then you scroll down, it's hard to like really have a look at who else you would go with. It's hard to see. Like Taylor Adams isn't too bad, but he's like notoriously bad for getting injuries during the season. And yeah, with his age, probably wouldn't pick him. But I could definitely see him being a top 6 forward, that's for sure. Like, especially because he'll be in the midfield for Sydney, so that's another reason maybe not to get Goulden. But I think Goulden will still just go even better next year. It'll just be interesting to see how they pull up in like the preseason games and stuff. But yeah, it's actually quite difficult to pick a forward line this year. There's so many different players. I'm going to jump on the hype of Zach Fisher, just because you don't want to start without him if he does get that centre-half back role, and he's taking kick-ins or whatever. That would be awesome. And, taking Zeebel's role, I think that would be definitely a good pick, because he's only going to go up at that price. And even when he was playing that sort of role at Carlton, he was scoring pretty good as well. So I think he's a good option to start for sure. And then, I can't even think of like who else. Probably just get Harley Reid in the forward line. There's a couple other interesting guys that are like an interesting price point. Yeah, and back on topic with the Cats, like midfield, don't really see how Dangerfield will go. So I think like even a Tanner Bruin might be one to watch as well during the preseason, because I was watching the Cats feed, and he shrugged Dangerfield like he was nothing, just maybe a sign that he's getting washed, which is sad. But I think that time is coming, which is unfortunate. Anyway, another guy I wanted to just go over was like Tom Lynch. He could be like a good option, but he's a key forward, so he's probably going to have inconsistent scores. And I don't think at the moment he's actually back in the training for the main training group. So it's a bit of a concern if you were going to start him. I don't mind the pick because he's like relatively fairly priced. But yeah, he does have that option of like a high ceiling because he can score like 160s and stuff like that when he just kicks bags. And yeah, I could see him being like a Tom Hawkins sort of player on SuperCoach, where he like sits around the 500k mark, and he starts getting more goal assists or something like that. Could be a good shout. But yeah, just because the forward line really doesn't have many options, I think it's not too bad. But I probably wouldn't pick him for the moment. And then yeah, there's a couple other options like. Probably wouldn't go near Fife, but I'd have to just wait and see. It's kind of tempting to go for him. But yeah, I think like Sarong and Brayshaw are the guys obviously now for Freo. But yeah, I probably would steer clear from Fife. But yeah, I'm thinking about him. And then yeah, we'll grab Harley Reid. And who else am I going to get? Probably like Finlay McRae, then... I was actually half considering, what's his name, Matt Taberner, but, if Fremantle are actually going to get good, right, they need him to kick goals because, he could be like a good key forward in the future, but he is getting older. I think he's about 30 now. He looks like a guy that has potential, but, he just hasn't achieved that potential throughout his career. He's like, 172k, which is really cheap. Could go with him, but he's another one of those guys like McGovern. If I had both of them in my side, I probably wouldn't want to have both of them because they miss a lot of footy. Just because I don't know, especially with him because he's tall and stuff. He seems like a really good key forward, but that's it. He's just a key forward, so probably don't want to grab him. But I'm thinking about him at the moment as well. And yeah, same with like Orazio. See how he goes in the preseason. But yeah, wouldn't pick him at the moment. And then there are a couple like interesting options here. Grab Finlay McRae. Hopefully, he gets into the midfield with Adam's departure, and then we'll grab. Who else is there? There's Aaron Cadman. I'll grab him as well, #1 draft pick. And then we'll get Sean Manning. Is it from the Cats? He's like a mature age player. Actually watched that grand final that he played in against the Gold Coast Suns, their first ever grand final win in VFL. But yeah, that was interesting. He kicked like 6 goals, got a fair bit of the pill as well, which was interesting. So I think he can definitely line up into the side round 1. I don't know if he has a spot forward. I think he's more of a midfielder. But yeah, he's a hybrid player, so be interesting to see how he goes. And then yeah, we'll just grab another player just for a filler spot, maybe like this guy, just for that DPP swing with the rucks. And then yeah, there's not many ruck forward options, so maybe Luke Jackson could be a good shout. Even in the forward line, yeah, obviously that's where you would pick him. But yeah, other than the top 6 at the moment, I'm not really interested in many of the others. Toby Conway could be a good guy to have on the bench. I think we'll start playing him more. He's meant to be like, they rate him like a Tim English type of player, so he could be pretty good in the future, but I still think he needs a couple more years to develop at AFL level. He only played a couple games. I think he only played like a couple games this year, maybe one. But yeah, I think we'll just put Naismith in. I think they might play him at Richmond, but yeah, he's also another guy that's probably not going to play, well, definitely won't play out a whole season. He's just got really He's got issues with injury, obviously. And then, Kieran Strange, I can't even pronounce his last name, but I think he's been at Adelaide for a while. So if, Rob does go down, he would definitely be like the second, like the backup ruck, I think. So for 123k, he's not a bad shout. He's probably a better option than Naismith if Rob does go down. But Naismith probably will get a game either way. I think they'll push him into the side eventually, even if that is up forward. But I don't know about that, to be fair. And then we've got the midfield. So I've got quite a stacked midfield here. I don't know if I'll actually start Jack Steele. I think I'll definitely start Cam Guthrie though, just because I know his potential. Who else? We'll just go with the rookies here. I'll probably pick. I'll just pick like the high-end draft picks like Colby McKercher. He seems like he'll be a good player. And then Campbell Chesser. He fucked my seat. Nah. Hopefully, Campbell Chesser can go well next year. Riley Sanders. He looks like a really good player. But that's obviously the draft hype. I thought he would go a bit higher in the draft, to be fair. And then start filling out the bench. Obviously we'll pick Jai Clark. Pick 8 for us last year, but he didn't really get to play this year because he got injured, I believe. So keen to see him have a crack, which will be exciting. And then we'll want to grab maybe a Jeremy Sharp, I believe. Should just slot straight into the Freo team, I would imagine. Roberts, I think he had a couple good games. Was it last year? Oh no, this year. Potentially. Daniel Curtin, I don't mind him. I think he'll be playing like round 1. Definitely just because they need a key back. With Adelaide, he looks like a pretty versatile player, so could be up forward as well. But I think they'll play him in defence. And then we'll just grab someone else, just a placeholder rookie for the moment. Probably a 102k rookie for a DPP swing to the forward line. And then defence, obviously we're going to grab Zach Williams, I believe it is. Zach Williams, where are you, mate? Oh, this video is kind of going on a bit long. I don't actually mind Connor O'Sullivan, so I think that's why we actually got him. Like I was kind of hoping we were getting Nate Caddy, but I'm pretty happy we got Connor O'Sullivan as well. I think he's going to be actually a chance to play round 1, because I think the reason we got him was because Stewart might be playing midfield, so that's probably makes sense. So he'll be down back, but I don't know how he'll score. Probably won't score that great for SuperCoach. So we'll grab Zach Williams. I think he's another injury-prone player. But at that price point, I'll take him. Obviously, most people will take him. And then it's just a matter of like who else I'm going to fill out my side with. I'll probably grab who else? Yeah, Marty Hoare. I swear he was scoring pretty decent in the past. Sorry, yeah, he was going really well in the past. I swear. Maybe he missed a fair bit of footy. I don't know why he's so cheap. He must have just missed a lot of footy or something. So we'll grab him, and then who else are we going to get? Is it Caulfield? Yeah, Caulfield is playing. Where is he playing now? The Bulldogs. We'll just grab him for the moment. And then we'll also try and grab Gibcus. Yeah, I really like this guy for some reason. I think he's got good potential, especially at Richmond. I think he's definitely got potential to be locked down a spot for the whole year. So I could see him definitely playing. It's just a matter of if he's fully recovered from his injury or not. I'm not too sure about that. I think he because I swear he was going overseas or something to do his they like Richmond invested in him, so that's good faith behind him, so they think he's going to play there for a while, which is good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was in round one team. It's just a matter of like if he's still injured or not. I'm not actually sure if he is or not. But yeah, so I'll probably just go with that, and then maybe Zach Reed, or even I think there was a guy from Collingwood that I didn't mind as well. But yeah, it's going to be hard to break Charlie Dean. I think he's been a rookie for a couple of years now, so he's a good option. But yeah, this is what my side is lining up like at the moment. Jack Steele is a bit questionable, just because he really didn't score that well this year. But the Saints still made the finals, so they're obviously going to get even better next year as well. Well, you would imagine. But I still think like it'll be a really close season next year. But I think Jack Steele at that price, he could definitely go back to pumping out 150s and stuff. It's just more of like a hope than like reality, I think. But yeah, I'm just going to have a look at Jeremy McGovern. See what he... But yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of like thinking about it. I think they still have Barras. I thought they traded him for a second there, but I think there was the rumour behind Sydney, but I think he stayed at the Eagles. But I feel like, McGovern will be the guy that's taking kickouts, and they've also got, what's his bloody name? Oh, he used to play for the Lions. I can't even remember his name. But yeah, he's got some interesting scores here. Like there's a 48, which is not great, and then, a couple shit scores there. But, it's a bit of a questionable pick, I'd say. But, I think he does have the ability to score well. It's just a matter of, he's bloody injured all the time. So let's just pray that he's not going to be injured next year. But, probably just eating my own words here. Probably not a great pick, but I can definitely see him being the Shannon Hearn replacement. And because he's still around 30 years old, I believe, he could, be a top 6 defender, which is a bold statement. But yeah, it's definitely one to watch, especially if West Coast aren't going to be that much better than this year. He could have some massive scores. But yeah, I think that's about everyone I want to have a look at. Where's my team picker? Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking at the moment. Otherwise, if I wasn't going to start McGovern, I'd probably get rid of like Jack Steele maybe, and McGovern, and figure out a way to bring in maybe like a Coleman. What's his name? Caden Coleman, is it? I can't even remember. I just know he played really well in the grand final. It's just, Brisbane have a fair few defenders at the moment. So Caden Coleman, yeah, he looks like he could be a really good option for SuperCoach, which, he really blew me away in the grand final. He was pretty close to actually the Norm Smith on like terms of how good he played. But, he was in a losing team. And then... yeah, so I probably would, if I was going to change anything at the moment, what I'd think of changing probably Steele and McGovern, maybe for like a Sinclair, just to have more of that structure down back, or I'd probably just get rid of both of them and have like Cadine and another like mid-tier defender. It's just a matter of like what rookies are going to be playing and stuff. But yeah, I don't mind this midfield lineup because they'll have pretty good scores, probably 80 plus. Hopefully the rookies can score 80 plus. So that's a good sign, but it's just a matter of like Jai Clark gets a game or not every round, because he could score well as well, potentially. But yeah, this is my side for the moment, guys. Hopefully you guys have a good Christmas and a New Year's break. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you later. Cheers.